Title: A Love Carried on the Waves. The wind howled through the old used remains of the old sea pier, its weather-beaten boards creaking, and parts of its concrete construction breaking off by the winter seas, from its past. Lochryan, with its ever-changing, brooding waters, held 1,000 secrets beneath its mirrored surface. Nestled in the rugged landscape of southwestern Scotland, this loch had been a silent witness to many tales of love and loss. It was 1944, a time when the world was still reeling from the horrors of a war that had stolen too many lives and shattered countless dreams. The pier had seen better days, but it remained a steadfast sentinel, jutting out into the loch like an old soldier standing guard. At the edge of the pier, a young woman stood alone, her silhouette stark against the twilight sky. Her name was Helena, and her heart was as heavy as the darkening clouds that gathered overhead. She clutched a worn letter to her chest, its paper thin from being unfolded and refolded 1,000 times. Helena had grown up in the shadow of Lochryan, her childhood filled with the stories of the loch and the pier. It was here that she had first met Angus, a fisherman with a smile that could light up even the gloomiest of Scottish days. Their love had blossomed quickly, each day spent together feeling like a precious gift. But then the war came, and Angus, like so many others, was called away to fight. They had stood on this very pier, the salty tang of the sea air mingling with their tears, as they said the goodbyes. Helena had promised to wait for him, her heart aching with the weight of the uncertainty that loomed ahead. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, with no word from Angus. Helena's hope began to wane, the silence growing heavier with each passing day. She would come to the pier every evening, watching the horizon for any sign of his return, her heart clinging to the fragile hope that he would come back to her. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the loch in hues of gold and crimson, a letter arrived. It was from Angus, written in a hurried scrawl, telling her he was coming home. Her heart soared with joy, but it was short-lived. The next morning, she learned that his ship had been lost in a storm, swallowed by the merciless sea. Years passed, but Helena never stopped coming to the pier. She grew older, her hair turning silver, but her love for Angus remained unchanged, as eternal as the tides. Locals spoke of her with a mixture of pity and reverence, calling her Lady of the Loch, a woman whose love was so deep that even time could not erode it. One cold, misty evening, Helena stood on the pier, her breath visible in the chill air. She closed her eyes, the sounds of the loch enveloping her like a lullaby. Suddenly, she felt a warmth at her side, a presence that she had longed for every single day. She opened her eyes, and there he was. Angus, as young and vibrant as the day he had left. "Helena," he whispered, his voice carried on the gentle breeze. "I'm home." Tears filled her eyes as she reached out to touch him, her fingers trembling. He smiled, taking her hand in his. My love. It's me. I told you I'd return one day, to be with you. I was always by your side." Time seemed to stand still as they embraced, the loch around them fading into the background. For a moment, it was as if the years of heartache had never happened. They were together again, their love defying the boundaries of time and space. And with a deep passionate kiss, the loch mist fell upon them both. So, on that old sea pier, with the loch as their witness, a love that had been cut short was finally given the chance to continue. Helena and Angus, two souls forever entwined, stood together, their story that couldn't end. As the night enveloped Lochryan, their love shone bright, a beacon of hope in a world that so often seemed dark. And the old sea pier, weathered by time and tide, stood silently, a guardian of their eternal love. The morning sunlight breaking the water's surface. The end. By Alastair Campbell. Digital Media Scotland UK. South West Scotland.